Meeting to order then, and Scott, take it away.
Thank you, Mayor. First page, we have three individuals that will be coming to speak at the agenda. Gerald Baker, Marty Spence, and Todd Ramsey on various issues. We also have a couple proclamations, Win Week and Save the Bees Day. Page 2, new business. Item 1, obviously continuation of the discussion about the budget, 2021 annual operating budget and 2021-2030 capital improvement program. Item 2 is a new IRB for a new spec industrial building. This is for 113,000 square foot spec industrial building. This would actually be directly adjacent to the building out there at by Jabara. The sister building was recently announced to have Amazon's new location, so this will be a sister building that they're proposing to build. Item 3 is a public hearing on establishment of Riverside Housing.
Hey Scott, how much longer do we have on the spec building program, do you know?
That is a year-to-year program. We're actually going to give you a report update on where we stand on the spec industrial program when we bring this item forward.
Okay.
I think we've had 4 previous spec industrial buildings approved. We'll give you an update on where those 4 stand, what their occupancy is, and then we'll consider this one.
Thank you.
Again, item 3, public hearing on establishment of Riverside Housing Redevelopment District. If you remember, or you may remember, this is over in the Riverside area. This is to take an old, Vice Mayor, what was it again?
It was an old hospital institution.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're proposing to do a 40-home patio home development there in that location. As well as there would be some riverfront improvements with a new bike walking path along that area.
That the TIF will
With
go
the TIF,
towards.
yep, correct.
And park improvements, I think.
Correct. Item 4, this is funding for improvements to Sycamore Street between Douglas and McLean. This will also do the McLean improvements that are mainly just striping. That'll reduce them from 4-lane to 2-lane and provide on-street parking in that segment between First Street and Douglas. This will help, I'll call it clean up some of the area in front of the library. There's been some challenges with transit being able to make that circulation and also improve some crosswalks in that area. Item 5, we're excited to bring this forward. This is the open air ICT temporary use permits. This is our effort to provide an opportunity for our restaurants and bars and retail operators to be able to expand out into either the sidewalk or to the on-street parking area, or if they have their own parking, this is an opportunity to provide them an opportunity to move out into those areas. As we know, with social distancing and concerns about people being in enclosed areas, this allows them to move out into those areas. The goal of this program, as we'll discuss on Tuesday, this is a fairly simple and straightforward application. You can do it online. Our target is to turn these around in 48 hours and then at no cost. And our goal is to, if council considers and approve this, is to declare an emergency so we can immediately get this going. We want to get this set up still when it's warm, and people can have that opportunity to decide if they want to utilize this. Item 6, this is an extension of our mask requirement that would extend it to September 8th. And I believe this will be declared emergency, so it immediately goes into effect.
Can we, what are all the changes? Are they outlined here, or is this a complete new ordinance?
Dante, I'm going to turn this over to you. You were master of this one.
Thanks, Scott. Councilman Blueball, and I think Sharon Dickbraff is actually in the audience, and she wrote the ordinance. I think the primary change, or the one that's most noticeable to me, is the change regarding schools, allowing schools and universities to adopt policies as they're closer to their situations, and exempting them from the ordinance. Sharon, is there something else that I might be missing?
Just the 2 items. It's extended to September the 8th, and then there's an exception for schools, private, public, indoor and outdoor spaces spaces, and that would allow the school districts to make their own decisions regarding masks.
Okay. The indoor-outdoor is not, it doesn't help businesses in any way or anything?
The only changes to school, that was the direction that I received.
And,
No changes for any of the other exceptions that were in the ordinance before.
and just to follow up on that, having a discussion with our friends over at the county, they were interested in our ordinance to match theirs. And my understanding is they have been talking with the school districts, and the school districts have plans that they're going to put in place. And I put a call out to Dr. Thompson to confirm that. But they wanted us to match what they're doing because they're the ones who, the Board of Health and have staff with that. We still want to keep our ordinance in place because that gives us more opportunity for I guess enforcement. So that was the change wasn't so much generated, I think, from anyone from this body. It was more of a collaborative effort with the county, with the city, and also with the school districts.
And Jeff, I spoke with Dr. Thompson on Wednesday evening, and she's great with this. They have a plan of their own, and she understands that this is the direction that we were going to pursue, and she was fully supportive.
One quick question. So I heard the term universities. Have we talked to our university presidents about that? Do we know how they feel?
Sure. Has any,
I have not had contact with anybody.
you saying that nobody's communicated with the colleges then?
I was just asking. I know I've received a few concerns. There was a post on social media about it, and there was 2 folks at Wichita State that were concerned about us lifting the mandate on universities when they've all been kind of following, what we've said. If you think about Friends in Newman, they don't have university police, or at least they didn't when I was younger. So, how would the enforcement go with them if we're lifting that on universities?
We would not have any jurisdiction on WSU campus to enforce our ordinance anyway, because that's state property. So it would have minimal effect for WSU. The other universities, I believe we can enforce on those because they're not necessarily state property. I included that because I assumed that if it was a school and we wanted the administrators to be in charge, that can certainly be changed before Tuesday if that's the will. If you want to take universities out, that's a pretty easy fix.
And Sharon, I think what we probably need to do, if you could maybe reach out to the county, to their
To see if they're
counselor,
including them.
because the spirit of this really started with trying to collaborate with the county to get in line with what they're doing, and I didn't know that universities were going to be added.
Okay.
I had only heard them say schools, which I understand how you would, that could be, but I don't think they're thinking of
Okay, and
universities.
I can
I think
reach out
they're
to them
just
and we can-
thinking of, because in the rationale for the county being interested in having the schools be able to make their decision because they're elected official, right? They have a school board, and so they get kind of giving them the power back. So I didn't think that universities and colleges was going to be included in this.
We can fix that.
Okay, thank you. Great question.
Good point. We should probably reach out and ask if universities are opposed to having colleges in or not. Because, just follow up on Councilmember Tuttle's point, I thought it was mostly aimed at school board, regulated schools. But also, just to kind of throw it out there, there is precedence for the private schools to enforce this. I believe Syracuse has actually suspended students who didn't, today I heard this, where they didn't follow the, where the quarantine rules, where they were exposed. They didn't self-quarantine, like the school policy told them to, and now they're expelled. So I think the private schools, there is some precedence for private schools to develop their own policy as well.
I know Goddard schools, the kids have a choice on going to class or online. Is Wichita offering a similar?
Yes. Yes.
They're still working out their plan, I think, too, and that's something I'm trying to get a better handle on because there's a lot of questions.
It? Any other questions on that one? Bottom of page 3, just a non-consent planning item. This is to a zone change from multifamily to general commercial. This is over in the Delano area. This would also remove the requirement of MAPC to do the Delano overlay requirement.
So Scott, so anybody, if you have questions on this, when you read through this item, you'll see that there was a difference of recommendations from MAPC and from DAB. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to fill you in on where we are on that.
Has there a protest been filed?
No, no.
Nothing on page 4. I don't have anything on page 5. Page 6, just a minor property acquisition in order to allow the Pawnee Avenue Webb Road to Greenwich Road improvements, small 1,600 square foot acquisition, mostly for a fence removal and a small land portion. Bottom of page 6 is the Edward Byron Memorial Justice. This would provide funding for Hispanic and African American Youth Citizen Police Academy, as well as car seats, cameras, vests, and helmets. Top of page 7 is the Federal Justice Assistance Grant. It's $185,000 and would go towards various law enforcement programs. Number 10.
I'm sorry, Scott. It identified new police facility needs of 58,000. Do we know what those are?
I think he's up there ready to answer that question for us.
I don't actually have an answer for you guys on that. I'm filling in for Chief Ramsey today. He couldn't be here, but I would be more than happy to get you guys an answer from Chief Ramsey as soon as I'm able to get that from him.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And your question is, what is the $58,000 for
New
police facility improvements?
needs. Yeah. If that's outside of our capital program, it's identified, or is it
Okay.
something new?
We'll get that to you. Just 10 of note, number 10, just as a note, this is a pass-through. This is a grant application for the I-35 21st Avenue redevelopment. If you can picture that, that's about a 120-acre project that's proposing to go forward at the intersection of I-35 and 21st. I think mainly most people remember that as an old refinery area. This effort to submit a grant application to the Economic Development Administration. Under the CARES Act, there was about $1.5 billion allocated for economic assistance. The challenge was it has a very small timeline of when projects can start and finish and expend the funds. This project was identified, as well as another project WSU is doing to go forward. This is a grant request they're putting in to help do the infrastructure improvements. It's important to note we're supporting this because if you think that area, it's obviously could use some redevelopment, but also provides a great opportunity to have warehousing, industrial, manufacturing uses adjacent to our I-35 corridor, which we often hear from site selectors that some locations are too far off interstates, and this opportunity to have that opportunity to go forward. So we'll be submitting that on behalf of them. There is no city financial commitment to that. Nothing else on the remainder of page 7. Nothing of note on page 8. Just a couple, just of note, 2 new leases down on the airport agenda items. I think, Mayor, just one additional item that we'll put on the agenda, that's consent agenda item. This is with the River Vista, we do a project closeout. This would be to put the specials and the CID specials on upcoming bonding. So just put that on there. That's our standard process to do that. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions?
I just want to confirm, so I sleep a little better this weekend. So with the mask ordinance, we're going to take out institutions of higher learning and just have it be public and private schools, correct? Is that where we landed? Sharon?
Yeah, that was my plan.
Okay, just want to make
I
sure.
just want to make sure that we're not getting into consensus and how to get these here.
Yeah, no, I get it. I was just asking clarifying question. Yep, gotcha. Thank you.
So is somebody going to check with the universities? That's what I was, or are we just taking it out?
Well, and that was my question too. But after hearing Councilmember Tuttle, I'm wondering if they're just kind of thrown in. Like it doesn't seem like, and I could be wrong, Sharon, it just kind of seems like you added them in as part of the schools, but I think that other discussions that Councilmember Tuttle and I were having were just supposed to be more geared towards the school districts
Yeah, this
with.
is all me.
Okay.
Nobody gave me directions on universities.
So
Okay,
So they seem like neutral.
I can certainly reach out to the county and make sure that they're not doing something different regarding the universities. But my plan is to take that out unless I hear something different.
Very good. And if we're silent on universities and they do something different, then they would supersede us anyway, so. Cool. Any further questions? See none. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.